y'all, Farmer Dre back at it. It's another beautiful day here on the farm, but I want to thank everybody for stopping by. If you guys haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button, go and smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to hit that notification icon so you guys can be notified whenever I do upload a video. I'm out here in our greenhouse, and guys, it is time to transplant these tomatoes. And you know, I said in a couple weeks, but these plants are already getting really big, and I had to water them almost, you know, every morning, and then sometimes in the evening because they were sucking up so much water in these small trays. So what I'm doing right now, I'm taking them out of the 128 cell count trays and transplanting them into these 18 singular trays here. So here are the trays right here. So it's just a solid tray here, holds 18 trays in it, filling up soil and then transplanting each individual one. So in total I have about 400 plants here. So I already got started. These are all the Carolina Gold, so these are a yellow tomato here. So we only do one row of the yellow tomatoes inside the high tunnel, so I went ahead and got those done. There are 60 of them done here, and then I've started working on the Red Deuce, and we got the Big Dinas, and you know, it goes pretty quick process. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you guys have watched any of my old videos from last year, you guys know that I heat with this sawdust wood stove here. It's an older style of heating. I mean, it works up to a certain extent, but that's what I'm going to use for tonight and this weekend. And then next weekend, or next week, starting early next week, Adrian and I, we're going to go ahead and weld together a actual wood stove like we have in high tunnel number 1. And eventually I want to buy a propane heater for this small greenhouse here. I probably should have done it this year. I might, but the problem is those greenhouse heaters are, you know, $1,200 to $1,500, and right now, you know, these tomato plants need to start producing us some money, so we better able to have enough money to go ahead and start producing. But for now and for tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and use a sawdust wood stove, and it works great. And if it does ever get any colder than, you know, that I get scared, I just go ahead and throw a tarp over this right here, these 4 tables here, and make a smaller greenhouse inside here. And I think that's what I might have to do tonight. I'm not sure. I don't know how cold it's gonna get tonight yet. But until then, I'm gonna go ahead and start transplanting here. So, you know, just pulling out the plugs here. So what I'm just doing, making a small hole there with my finger inside there, getting all the way to the bottom there of the tray, grabbing a small plant here, Red Deuce tomato, and shoving it. And with tomatoes, the deeper you can plant it, the more roots they're gonna have. So if you guys can see on here, you know, all those tiny hairs there, if that's in soil, it's gonna go ahead and produce a root, and you know, more roots makes a healthier tomato plant. So that's what we want. So I'm burying these suckers as deep as they can go. And these trays here, I think the measurements are 2 inches by 2 inches, and then they're 3 inches deep. So that's the actual, if you guys are interested in the measurement there and how deep they are. So like I said, 18 per tray here, and that just gives us a nice healthy tomato plant. So whenever we do transplant in high tunnel number 1, about the middle of February, so that we, you know, the plants will be, you know, about 6 to 8 inches tall and a big fat healthy root system, so that they go ahead and kick off and start producing us some nice tomatoes. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys our wood stove in high tunnel number 1 here before we get started transplanting here. Here lately, I have a few videos, tomato videos, that have kind of gone viral. I know I made that video of, like, you know, one little trick that will make your tomato plants a lot more happy. I think it's close to like 200,000 views. So I do appreciate all my new subscribers that are on the channel. And we are mainly a fruit farm here in Southwest Missouri. My family and I, mainly my parents own the farm, and then I'm the production manager, and I'm in charge of everything that grows and that dies. So you guys, you know, that's why I'm making all these awesome YouTube videos for you guys. But we dove into growing tomatoes 4 years ago. This will be going in our 4th season, so 3 years ago, and that's when we got our first high tunnel here through the NRCS High Tunnel Equipped grant. And ever since then, it's been a full throttle, you know, put up as many as we can, because, you know, taking advantage of that program. And for us here in Southwest Missouri, there's not too many specialty crop farmers, so those grants are available for us to grab. So hey, if they're available, why not take advantage of them? But anyways, in high tunnel number 1 here, and this is where we grow our first crop of tomatoes. So this is a wood stove we built, my brother and I and my dad. So we load up all the wood from over here, and from the outside, because you don't want any of the gas or any of the fumes from the wood stove to be going in there. And then of course we got the cover crop. I got to come through and kill this off here pretty soon because we got to let it have time to decompose. But anyways, this is the wood stove here. So it's a 300-gallon propane tank. Ends are chopped off. We made the door outside there. Put a plate here on the back. And with burning wood, and I can make a complete video about, you know, how we heat our tunnels, but the gist of it is the smoke comes through here, comes up this thing in this tank, and the more surface area you have, the more heat is going to come out of the wood stove. So it comes in here, the hot smoke comes in here and then goes out the shaft there. But another cool trick we do to get really early tomatoes is we use radiant heat. So we do heat up the soil. So we have a 3/4 inch PEX pipe. You know, I think there's about 1,000 foot under here in underneath every single row. And with tomatoes, to them to be very happy, you know, you got to be able to have their feet warm or the roots warm to be able to grow a nice, wonderful crop. So we keep the air warm, we heat up the soil, and then we have just a pump that comes out from the return. I got to connect this back because I use it to irrigate some stuff, and then it just goes through here, wiggle wires back through here, all these pipe go through there, and then it goes, you know, we have this temperature gauge. So the hottest I had it was about 200 degrees. Water was going in the soil, and then that radiant heat comes up. So this is all built by us here on the farm. So this is us. We'll build a smaller version of this in the greenhouse there, and it won't be as sophisticated with the water or anything like that. But you know, this is the fancy wood stove we use to actually heat up this high tunnel. And another thing that I'm doing is we went ahead and bought a propane heater. So we'll be installing that up here above the fan here. So, you know, I like my sleep. I'm still very young. So, you know, waking up at 2:33 in the morning to come put wood on the fire isn't too convenient. So, you know, we'll still use a wood stove to put the wood in it whenever we go to sleep. And the propane will kick in during the middle of the night. And then I can get my full nights of rest. But that's a video for another time. So now let's get back to transplanting tomatoes. And one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is our frost-free date here in Southwest Missouri. So the last frost we have is about May 1st. So my goal here on our farm is to have ripe tomatoes first week of May. So we're really pushing it. So I mean, there's a lot of farmers in our area that think that, you know, hey, you're kind of crazy for trying to get tomatoes so early. But like I mentioned in my other videos, you know, the first person on the market with farm fresh tomatoes really wins those first customers. So all this time and energy that is going on during the winter months for me, you know, it does pay off during the summer months, especially in May, whenever a lot of the home gardeners are planting tomatoes outside for the first time, and a lot of farmers are planting their field tomatoes. We already have ripe tomatoes for the farmers market. So that's why we strive and to have, you know, farm fresh tomatoes. So anyways, I'm gonna continue on here and you know, just pull out the plants there, make a small hole just like that, put it in the ground, shove it in there, bury it as deep as possible, and that's it. 18 plants per tray here. Goes pretty quick. So not too shabby, not too shabby. And you know, we got a pretty small greenhouse here, but hey, it gets the job done. It keeps the tomato plants growing. It keeps the you know, the plants happy. And one little trick whenever you are transplanting tomatoes into bigger pots or even outside in your tunnel, make sure that you have an overcast day so direct sun is not beating on the plants you are working. And another thing is, as you guys can see here up on the roof, I went ahead and put our shade cloth, just a section of it, back on, just because that full sun, it feels penetrating in here, the plants will have too much stress. And I've had, you know, batches of tomatoes that have died because I was working on them in full sun. And that's something I've learned over the years on my own experiences. You know, if you have a full sun, you know, beating down your plants, the plants have been inside for, you know, their entire life, and now they're going to be in here. So, you know, a little bit of that transplant shock. So one way we reduce that is we have the shade cloth here on top of the greenhouse here, and that really helps out with the plant health. Anyways, enough of me yapping away. I could talk to you guys for hours, you know, and then hours on end. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to work here and continue transplanting. So I have exactly 180 red deuce here and 60 Carolina golds, and then I'm working on the big Dinas right there. So I have another 128 of these plus those 36 that are on that side, and that will complete my transplanting. This is all for high tunnel number 1. And then the first week of March, I'm going to go ahead and start the seedlings for high tunnel number 2, and the first week of May, start the seedlings for high tunnel number 3. And if we do plant any field tomatoes this year, we're still debating. You know, last year our field tomatoes didn't do too well. And the thing about field tomatoes, especially here in our area, you know, we have a few other farmers that only grow field tomatoes. And for me, I've already trained my customers, you know, to eat our high tunnel grown tomatoes, and for them to see the quality of the tomatoes that, you know, come out of the field. You know, they don't really appreciate that. So, you know, they want these high quality, really good looking tomatoes. So we're kind of scooting away from growing field tomatoes. I might plant a few where our future high tunnels will be, but that's just in the future, so we might see. But everything is in a schedule. We're planning everything out and making sure that all the tomatoes grown this year should be you know, top notch, high yielding, and we'll just keep on going. So like I said, another flat here, big Dinas, and we should be good to go. Like that, we are done transplanting tomatoes. So it is going dark. I took off that shade because I wanted to trap as much heat as possible in here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab, you know, fill the sawdust whistle up and make sure everything is nice and warm in here. The low for tonight is not too bad, so I'm not too worried about it. Both tomatoes, especially out here, you know, anywhere from 65 to 70 degrees is ideal. So that's the goal and the plan. Like I said, in a couple weeks, you know, about a month, being more realistic here, they'll be transplanted out into the high tunnel there, and many more videos will come along with that as the season progresses. But we actually started pruning the orchard. I started pruning the high density apples, and we still got a lot of work on the strawberries showing up. We got to finish training blackberries, the blueberries. We got a whole lot of work ahead of us, and we are planting another 1,800 apple trees this next spring. We're also building our new farm store, so we got a bunch of work ahead of us. You know, this is just the start of the 2021 season, but it's going to end off strong. So this is pretty much it for today. If you guys haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, hit that notification icon so you guys can be notified whenever I do upload a video. I want to say thanks for watching up to this point. You guys have a good day, and we will see you next time.